Did I need to start a podcast to have these like really deep, meaningful conversations with my husband? Welcome to Money Dates, the podcast that makes money conversations with your partner feel a little less taboo. I'm Natalie Slagle, a certified financial planner, and I'm joined by my husband and business partner, Dan Slagle, also a certified financial planner. Say hi, Dan.
Hello.
In each episode, we'll share honest stories and practical tips to help you and your partner feel more connected and confident on your financial journey. So grab your drink, get comfortable, and join us for our Money Dates. Hi, Dan.
Natalie, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really excited. This is our first episode.
I'm also excited. It's something we've been wanting to do for a while, and here we are. We're actually doing it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. There's a part of me that feels, or like I ask myself at night, I'm like, did I need to start a podcast to have these like really deep, meaningful conversations with my husband? And I know the answer is no. I know the answer is no, because we do a good job of having these conversations together. But now being parents, like, time's limited, right? And so if we have to use our working time to like have these conversations, then so be it. But yeah, I'm just super pumped to have these discussions with you.
Yeah, I mean, you literally just had to stick a microphone in front of my face for me to open up and share these things with you. That's what it seems like. That's
all it took. So I think for our first episode, it would be helpful for people to kind of get to know us. So I think we should just kind of share our story, which I love. Doesn't it always feel kind of good and special when we share our story a little bit? Do you want to share it or should I?
No, I like when you start. Why don't we do this? Kind of like when we watch like a sports game, like you be the number one commentator and then I provide color commentary during the story. I think that could go really well.
Got it. But now I'm picturing us like watching soccer on Saturday mornings. And so do we have to have English accents or no? That would be
You weird. Can try it if you want. It might be really entertaining. No. Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, our story goes back to college, right? So we went to college in Minnesota, a small private college. That's where we got to know each other first, is just like the same group of friends. And then it was after graduation, we both entered the financial industry. Like sometimes I even struggle, like, what do you call this industry? Because sometimes I'm like financial planning, wealth management. Anyways, you're a year older than me. So you had to start taking all the exams. You have to take all these exams and licensures in this industry. And so my good friend, she always appreciates it when I give her this credit. But my good friend was like, hey, Danny Slagle, like you got to hit him up because he took these tests that you're about to study for and he passed them. So I hit you up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you hit me up. I feel like it was on my work email. Like it was really.
I was going to say, was it text or was it email? I think
it was email, and I think it was my work email, which is really weird. Like looking back at it, but like that was romantic? Like early. That was like early 2012. Like that was a long time ago.
Yeah, at the time, I think I initially hit you up. I was like just getting out of a relationship, so it was very intentional. Of like, this guy passes test. A plus B equals C, get the guy to help me study and I will pass the test and that's it. That's all I need. That's like all I wanted from you.
You were using me. Like that's...
I was.
Yeah.
I was. And so you and I started like hanging out. Like we would go to I think it was Caribou Coffee over there in St. Paul, and we would meet up and we would study together. And I'll never forget, it was probably had to be like our fourth or fifth time meeting up. And I was gone for the weekend. I had like a girls' weekend in Milwaukee, I think. And that Sunday, you and I were getting together to study. And you like hopped out either the car or like, I just remember you hopping out. Like, I don't even know what you were hopping, but like you had a hop
like,
to
like,
you.
Bam, like here I am.
Yeah. And you had this crew neck sweater on and these shorts. And I was like, this guy's cute. It hit me differently. Like I always knew you were good looking, but then the way you like hopped out and you had this big smile on, I was like, wait a second. Why am I feeling different?
I don't know. Why did you feel different? Like what was going through your mind?
I think
Were you feeling more confident about your tests, like during our study
No.
sessions? No? Okay.
Side note, you helped me study for 2 tests, and those first 2 tests, I failed my first attempt. So you were not a good tutor. I will say that. And I think I was getting distracted.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that would make sense.
I think I could see your excitement. I could see your excitement, which is what caught my eye. I was like, this guy's excited to see me. That's special. So we start dating, blah, blah, blah. And then, I mean, I feel like I can like rush through all the relationship stuff, right? Like we get married and we continue to work at our separate financial places, right? Do you want to share anything about that?
No, there's nothing to share about that. That time in my life, like, no,
but it's important. It was important to your career.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for sure.
You
and
learned so much.
I learned so much. People were amazing, but like looking back on it, no, this is where I want to be right now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like we had great foundations to our careers. We learned so much about investments, financial planning, tax planning, all those things, but we were learning them separately, right? And then I got a job opportunity out in Camas, Washington. So we moved out to Portland, Oregon. And that was so fun. The experience of living in Portland, the job, that's another conversation. But like us just uprooting our lives, moving across the country, trying something different together was really great. But we were feeling this sense of, is there more we could be doing?
Yeah, it was the life. I'm checking the boxes, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm going to school. I got a good education. I have a good career. Things are progressing up. We meet, we get married, we buy a home. And it felt very like mundane. Like it was just like, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like if people want that lifestyle, then by all means, that's for them. But for you and I think we were seeking more adventure. And this job opportunity to bring us out to the West Coast, like allowed us to feel that and get a sense of what that was like. And I think that also opened up some other doors into like creative outlets for us in a field, finance, that is not always that creative.
True. When did we start getting the itch?
I think we started getting the itch like 2019, maybe late 2018. Like, I feel like that's when we started planning
It was before that because we had to save so much money. Like we launched in 2019 and by that point we had saved a lot of money.
Yeah. I also think the itch allowed us to like understand more about like our business and how we wanted to create it, who we wanted to work with, right? So in our previous careers, we were working with clients in their 70s, 80s, 90s. And like there's a point in this industry when you're maybe not client facing and working with households where it's literally just numbers on a screen. And it's really hard to connect with the client. So you see our numbers, right? I'm talking about dollar signs.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed working with like an older demographic.
Yeah.
Right.
Me too.
But I feel like you and I were kind of like, okay, wait a second. Like something seems off. Like there's something missing in terms of an offering to people like us. Like we're going through all these life changes, like getting married, buying a home, moving across the country, whatever it may be, like on that checklist of life items, like we're going through it. And like, what are the implications from a financial standpoint for you in that time frame to think about, oh, if I make the correct decision, or if I come reasonably close to making the correct decision, like what is the long-term impact? So when we're those clients who are 70, 80, 90, like we're not regretting decisions we made from a financial standpoint. Like we're likely better off than where we would have been without getting some support.
And wasn't that what felt missing for us was support? Like we were like, who would we talk to if we weren't in finance and making these big life decisions? Who could we reach out to help us? Because yes, it's financially impactful, but there's so much of the financial decisions we make that are really led by like our values and our beliefs that we needed someone that we could relate to. And I feel like there wasn't anyone. And we started to realize that for our friends too, because we would have some friends and people in our network reach out to us and say like, hey, can you help me with this finance stuff? And our response was, yes, but we'll have to like go grab coffee, or you can come over to my house, because the place I work at does not help people in your financial situation. Even if our clients had like a good amount of money, or not our clients, but our friends, even if they had a good amount of money or whatever, it's just like the places we worked for and who our industry tries to reach were not people like us. And that was like well, why don't we create it? So we did, right? What's that saying? Like, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I think that's another sports reference, which like, I'm just going to highlight how many sports references you're putting into a podcast right now, because that can be used at a later date.
Okay.
It's Field of Dreams. It's Field of Dreams.
It seems like it'd be Gladiator or something, but I think you're right.
It is Field of Dreams. Yeah, it is for sure.
So one thing y'all should know about me is I don't love watching sports, right? Except soccer. I like watching soccer because that was the sport I grew up playing. And so I kind of poo-poo on sports because I feel like there's a lot of time spent. Look at this. I'm spending time on the first episode talking about sports. But I like playing sports. I have a lot of appreciation for athletes, especially female athletes. So anyways, that's that side tangent.
All right, let's go back. So what were we talking about? We were talking about like why we created Fyooz, which is the name of our business. Have we even said that yet?
I don't know. Let's say it.
Okay, well, let's say it. So Fyooz, Fyooz. It's the phonetic spelling of the word fuse, which we wanted, again, when working specifically with clients in their 30s and 40s, create some sort of offering that is appealing to that demographic. So we came up with the name Fyooz, chose the phonetic spelling based on the definition of two entities coming together into one, right? And that's essentially what we wanted to do with couples' finances for a household.
Right. Blend two individual experiences into one. Not blend, almost more like join. Because I think we'll talk about this here in a little bit, but like even today, so how long have we been married? Almost 10 years. Yeah, something like that. And you and I still have different beliefs and thoughts around money. Yeah. And so we've had to create our own financial planning, honoring how I view money and how you view money, which are different. And so marriage 101, right? Like compromise. And so we wanted our name and our business and our approach to do just that. Is, hey, you're still two people and you've had different upbringings around money and you've had different experiences. So like, how do we mesh this together that still like honors and respects the worries, the excitements, and everything in between about money? We do a really good job of that. I'm
are you talking about like personally or with our work?
Both.
Oh, both. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We should talk about our personal approach with this, which stems back to a conversation we have with all of our clients, which is like talking about your values and your experiences around money.
Yeah, maybe some like really good starter questions that like y'all can take with you, think about on your own, and even like ask your partner, like have a candid conversation. I think that would be really, really good. Why don't I ask you, Natalie, that question?
And what question is that?
What were some of your first experiences with money?
Oh, some of my first experiences with money.
Like that you recall, like core memories, whether it was like household talked about money, like your parents, maybe like your first job, like some experiences with money that like really stick out for you.
Yeah, I have quite a few. It's like there's experiences and then there's people, right? So people who have like helped shape my money mindsets. And so like right away, when I think about my mindset around money and my experiences, my father, my dad comes up quite a bit. I think I have a similar approach to money like he does. There's a lot of conversations that were had, and I'm grateful for that, because based on having this conversation with our clients, not everybody has a positive experience with their parents in regards to money. So between myself and my dad, that I had some good experiences. And, one thing that my parents, they were still together at the time that like I was having my initial money experiences, is they were like, hey, your needs are covered. We got you. You got a roof over your head. You've got food on the table, but you want to go get those Abercrombie jeans, which is funny because now I buy Abercrombie jeans again. But you want to go get those expensive things, you got to get a job. Like, we're not paying for that. And so I had my babysitting gigs by the time I was 12. I had my first paycheck job when I was 14, working at Hy-Vee, bagging groceries. And I think sometimes there was some resentment in that of like, well, why do I have to work when my friends aren't working? I even had that resentment in college. But then now I look back and I'm like, wow, I have a really strong work ethic because it's kind of been ingrained in me since I was 11 or 12, right? If I want something above and beyond my needs, I need to work harder to make more money in order to afford that. So I think that was a value given. And I think I learned at a young age how hard work, the appropriate hard work, can be financially rewarding. That's all I'm going to share so far.
Yeah, that's amazing. First point is like, it's crazy how Abercrombie is like a thing again.
I know.
Like I remember walking through the mall and I was just like, it was busy. It was busy. Let's follow up. Let's just hit you with both questions then. How do you think your past experiences with money, everything that you've just shared, has impacted your relationship with money today?
It has impacted me in the sense that I'm a really hard worker. I also think I care too much about money and I stress about it more. And maybe it's because I've always felt like I'm the one responsible here. Like I'm the one who's got to be in control and create my own outcome. Because I think we can talk about this in another time, but I don't like that part of me. And I know it's from a really young self that there's this innate desire to just like have so much control over our financial wealth or our financial health, I should say. And like, I worry about money a lot more than you do. And that comes from somewhere. And I don't fully understand that. And I probably should talk about that with my therapist a little bit more, but like, I'm a hard worker. I have benefited financially from being a hard worker. I also think and stress about money more than I wish I did.
That's fair. That's fair. Sounds like I will be balancing the checkbook after this conversation. if people still do that.
Yeah. Well, our next episode is going to be talking about the mental load of managing a household's finances. So we'll get into that even more next episode. But let's go over to you, Dan. What was money like for you growing up? Talk about some of your initial experiences or memories around it.
I have two core memories that stand out to me. One is like a core memory. The other one's just like how I was raised. What would you like first?
I want the core memory.
Core memory. I say core memory. I don't exactly remember the timeline, but I think it was at some point in middle school. And I was just having one of those mornings before school where like most teenage boys probably have of like, just a hard day, right? And like and when I say that, not being the best version of myself.
Like you were giving your household a hard day. That's how I
that's exactly correct. Yeah, I said that very elegantly.
Okay.
It was so rough on my parents, not me, that my dad actually pulled me out of school. He didn't even take me to school that day because I was that bad. You know what he did?
Danny Slagle. What? What did he do?
So my dad, backstory, self-employed most of his career. He sold wheel weights and tire products to like local distributors.
I still don't even know what a wheel weight is.
Yeah, maybe one day we can have him on and he can explain it. Like if he becomes like this cult figure in this podcast.
But I know he's
cult
called
following.
Wheel Weight Bob.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Self-proclaimed nickname. Anyways, what he did like during the course of his workday was he would drive around to different tire shops and sell the products, right? So we always like growing up, we had like the really big van, like 1970s, like maroon Dodge Ram van. Like that's like every year we had a new version of that van, it felt like, for his business, because he would haul his supplies. Yeah. And our garage was his warehouse for those supplies. But this one particular day, he didn't allow me to go to school. And he actually made me go to work with him for the whole day. So I literally sat in the front seat of the big Dodge van and watched him go in and out of all these stores selling his product. And I would occasionally like go into the store with him. And that day just stands out to me because that was my first, I know his message. I feel like I know his message. We haven't even talked about this. Like I haven't talked about it. It's just a man thing. We don't talk about feelings.
Oh, you mean you haven't talked about this with your dad?
Yeah. And like, I feel like his point was to, hey kid, if you're going to give me a very hard time and not appreciate what I'm doing for you, I'm going to show you what I am doing for you.
Wow. Yeah,
because like, that's what I feel like the lesson was.
When you were saying this, I was thinking I didn't know why, but I was thinking, what a strong parenting moment for your dad. I feel as if most parents, if they're having a really hard day with their child in the morning, they're like, get this kid off of my radar. Like, get him to school, get him to daycare. That I think is most parents' like response in a really difficult morning. And so the fact that your dad did the opposite is really cool.
Yeah. And I look at it now and like parents pull kids out of school for like vacations and stuff. So I think he was totally in the right for having me do that. And so like that whole day, I got such a great experience of like, oh, here's what it's like to be self-employed and like create your own path and provide for your family. That day really stands out to me. The second thing I was going to say is I just grew up in this is probably more so from my mom, but I just grew up in a family where it was like gifts. Like gift giving was the love language across the board for everyone in my family. And it was always that way. And like you and I can remember like that, our first holiday together when my mom like had dozens of gifts for you and you were so overwhelmed.
Yeah. I was like a girlfriend of not that long. Yeah. And I was like, wait, you have gifts for me? You have more than one gift for me? I'm getting as much as Dan. I was very thrown off. Yeah. Now I'm very appreciative, but I was very thrown off.
For sure. And like when I went to your family's holiday and got a pair of socks, like I was like, oh, interesting.
Like you thought my family didn't like you. And I was like, dang, you got socks? They must love you.
You're in. Yeah.
Getting socks from a Fyooz, that's my maiden name, is a love language in itself.
Socks and gloves. You know how many socks and gloves I've received over the years? Probably 10 actually, because it's been 10 holidays.
But like we never buy, and they always do like the Hardy Minnesotan socks. We never buy those socks and we never buy gloves because we're always getting them from our family.
Let's go back to, probably the follow-up question, which is like, how have my experiences like impacted my relationship with money today?
Yes.
I'm still really into gift giving.
You're so good at it.
You receive the benefit of that. Well, you and our daughter now and our dog.
You are such a good gift giver that it creates anxiety for me when it's my turn to give you a gift. Cause I'm like, you're so good. Well, now we're talking about love languages. And I think what we were kind of talking about like our money experiences and how they've impacted us today. How do you think your money experiences kind of is shaped in our household financial experience?
Yeah, it's really interesting because you more so keep track of like our finances, like from a household perspective. So For me, it's just like not being in front of it.
Are you kind of like the passenger princess of our finances?
Yeah, duh. I mean, that might change after this conversation.
Well, right? We're going to talk about it more in our next combo.
Okay, yeah. Let's go back. Like, how has it impacted me? I know it's love languages, but like gift giving is still really big, right? So it has impacted me because I love giving gifts.
And we spend money on those gifts.
And we spend money on the gifts. I also love receiving gifts. The story with my dad, I don't know how that impacts me. Maybe I started a business and I'm self-employed and I learned how to work hard for like my family. And I think those are probably my biggest takeaways from the experiences I've shared.
Yeah. I feel like I actually gained a lot. You know, I mentioned my dad. I've gained a lot of wisdom for how my mom spends money. I mean, my mom, you know this, Dan, and you've benefited from this. She works harder than anyone I know in my life. And her working is like her job, and then working on providing her time for her family and her grandkids. And my mom is also very financially responsible. So I had this desire to be financially responsible for our family, like me, Dan, and our daughter, Jay. I feel like I have taken that on and I've learned that through my parents. But but I bring in money anxieties into this household that you do not. Right? Like, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't have an answer for that right now, but I know that comes from somewhere. I think there was some instabilities in my household growing up. And so I think managing our household wealth is kind of a sense of security. Like if the spreadsheet says it's okay, then that creates a sense of security. And you're kind of over here like, great. What was it last night? I was like, hey, did you know, we just redesigned our daughter's bedroom, essentially like created her the nursery we always wanted to, and we hadn't gotten to yet. And I was like, Dan, we spent $2,000 on that. Like I kind of said it like, oh, and you're like, great, money well spent. And I was like, wow.
I didn't say it that coolly. I said like that's what we budgeted for.
It is
her room, and that's what we spent. So that's amazing. And the things in that room will provide a lot of joy for everyone. And you've said it's now your favorite room in the house.
It is.
What is that worth to you?
Yeah, I would spend it again.
Interesting. Sometimes you just need to talk it through because in the moment you didn't feel like that.
No, I felt a little like I was working on paying off our credit cards last night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to pull all this money to pay off the credit card. And then now I'm like, who cares? It's incredible. Like her room feels so lovely. It feels like an expression of her. And that's a good feeling. All right, Dan, how do we wrap this up? It's our first episode. We're amateurs.
I have no idea. I think what I would do is just reiterate the questions that listeners can take away for themselves and ask their partner these questions as well, because it's really interesting what it unravels for you, what it uncovers for you as a household when you start dealing with money. So, Natalie, you want to repeat the framework for our listeners?
Yeah. So ask your partner, even if you think you already know the answer, like you should ask your partner, because Dan and I have asked ourselves these questions before. And each time I feel like I learn a little something. So ask them again, and let them speak and ask, what was money like for you growing up? That's it. What was money like for you growing up? And then after they share, ask them, how do you think those experiences has impacted your relationship with money today? Take the opportunity to share your responses as well. This was fun, Dan. Thanks for hanging with me.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thanks.
Hey, if you've enjoyed this episode and are looking for personalized financial guidance, schedule a free complimentary consultation using the link in the description below. Natalie and Dan Slagle are the founding partners of Fyooz Financial Planning, a registered investment advisor. The information provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Advisory services are offered to clients or prospective clients where Fyooz Financial Planning and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. For more information, including our disclosures, please visit our website at www.fyoozfinancial.com.